Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. My name is Dave Grendzynski, aka Grizz, and this is where we all get together to get caught up on some of the latest news involving our favorite team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns, and then everybody has a chance to share their opinions on that news that is tied to our team. Hey, thank you to everybody who has liked our previous episode. Hopefully this one makes it on the list. I think it might. And to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, we keep crawling our way up there. We're getting so close to 7,000. We will change the fit in celebration once we hit 7,000. And then everybody who jumps into the viewer comments and shares their thoughts on the team or anything else related to the Cleveland Browns, I really appreciate the efforts. And hey, if you haven't heard, we are going to advance the channel here in the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. We are going to add some live streams, and we'll do some live things, and which I can't wait to do that. And we'll have some exclusive content, and there'll be some membership things. The folks at FanArch are just very thankful, and so am I, the support you have shown our little show. And so we are taking it to the next step, and we wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you so much for that. Something to look forward to other than training camp. Wow. Here in the next couple of weeks. Now, coming up on today's show, we're coming off a long holiday weekend, right? But one of our quarterbacks was getting after it in the weeks before training camp starts. How about this? There's a talk show host here in Cleveland who seems to think that only two words come up when you start talking about Shedeur Sanders taking over as QB1 in Cleveland. All right, I'm also a little nervous about this, folks. I'm nervous that the Pickett and or Gabriel situation could end up becoming a carbon copy of the Watson debacle. I'll explain my thoughts. And down in the viewer comments, one viewer does not hold back on his thoughts when it comes to Kevin Stefanski's offense. We're going to get to all that. But first things first, Shedeur getting after it. Down there in Miami, wasn't on South Beach. He was at a high school working out with his coach. We have a picture courtesy of 305 Sports. This broke over the weekend. This was earlier this weekend, but I waited till because everybody was on a holiday over the weekend. So I wanted to make sure everybody was back in their normal routines, and now we can talk about this. But he was at Immaculata LaSalle High School working out with his longtime coach, Darryl Colbert Jr. And the videos that went out were shot by Colbert Jr. and 305 Sports picked them up and posted them. So this isn't like Shedeur, it's Shedeur and his team, making videos and putting them out there. So he's seen on it. Now, it's not like a 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 thing, but he's getting to working. Quick releases, you see a lot of accuracy. He's hitting guys in stride and things like that. And so this was good to see. So what you got to do, right? If you're a rookie and you're in a 4-person quarterback battle, and he still has shot. Everybody's in play. We keep hearing about the veteran, everybody thinks it's going to be one of the veterans to start week one because of the way the schedule is. But there's nothing in the rule book that says Shedeur or Gabriel can't grab the bull by the horns and never let go. And so, he's doing what he can at this point to get that done. And now, the other thing that happened over the weekend, Garrett Bush, who is a talk show host here in Cleveland, and he has, I value his opinion. He has a lot of good things to say, and real smart guy. And I thought this was great, what he said. This really if you just walk, again, if you've been frozen in like a block of ice for the last 10 years, and we just thawed you, and this is the first thing you're watching since you were thawed, and you're trying to figure out what's the big deal with the quarterback situation in Cleveland, and you're like, what is going on with this Shedeur thing? It's like there's so many different opinions, but this was a good way. I thought he summed it up in a great way. So he was talking about they're just talking about every time Shedeur's name comes up, it just seems to be, I don't want to say polarizing. I hate that word. I just want to say, like, everybody has their opinion on it, whenever you bring up Shedeur, and here's part of the thing. He's right. As Browns fans, the Watson situation, the Mayfield situation, Manziel, every time, like, everybody kind of thought there was hope, these just became very disruptive situations, I mean, I threw Manziel in. He talked about Watson and Mayfield. He said these are very disruptive people. He said, so people are staying back on Shedeur, right? He's basically saying, this is what you got to come and smack me in the face and make me want to love you, where as opposed to, you draft a guy that everybody, what we went through, everybody got excited. Well, not everybody, about half the people were excited about Watson, but everybody was excited about Mayfield. We didn't know what we had there, Manziel, like the list goes on and on. You think you have this hope and then we've been wrong so many times. And so, it's a very sensitive topic, quarterbacks in Cleveland. And and Garrett he says, that's why so many people are trying to stay at arm's length from this, And, well, some of them, lots of people like them. Lots of people like what they see. But other people are just saying it's just hype. Listen to here's what he said. Garrett Bush, over the weekend on 92.3 The Fan, he says, there's a level of not understanding whether it's optimism or hype. You can be optimistic about somebody and not be hyping him. People assume that it's just you hyping him up. They don't think you know what a real quarterback is supposed to look like. And what he's saying is, you have all the people who are backing Shedeur. Every time they try to point out, like, hey, most accurate quarterback in college, over 14,000. Yeah, we're going to get to the stats in a second. Over 14,000 yards. He did it in 4 years. Took Gabriel 6 years. Took Bo Nix 5 years. Like when people bring that up, the people on the other side are going, oh, that's just hype. He just, you're only talking about him because he makes videos and he does all these other things. His dad was Deion Sanders and his fame. He was going to be famous no matter what. Like all these other things come out, and so. It's not looked at as optimism, as like, we should be excited about this. Like he fell to us in the 5th round. We got a steal here, right? He was a first round talent that came to the 5th round. Like nobody wants not nobody. Like there are those people that don't want to hear that. So they just hear hype. That's just hype. They don't look at it as optimism. And I'm going to tell you, part of the problem is it's Cleveland. And we've had so much trouble with quarterbacks. People don't know what to think of quarterbacks anymore. So that's part of the problem. But here's the thing. Look at Shedeur's stats. 50 games, over 1,200 completions. Completion percentage 70%, over 14,000 passing yards, 134 passing touchdowns to 27 interceptions, and 17 rushing touchdowns. Like if I did not put a name on that and showed you that and said, hey, would you draft this guy? What do you think you're going to say? Absolutely, you're going to draft this guy. Are you kidding me? And the thing is this, like the thing that always comes up with Shedeur, well, when I say, when you're having these conversations, the other thing that comes up is, played at Colorado and was lesser competition. Gabriel played against bad, but then I go, well, Josh Allen played at Wyoming. Brock Purdy, Iowa State. He was Mr. Irrelevant, and now look at him. Carson Wentz, North Dakota State. Roethlisberger went to Miami of Ohio, the MAC. You go back even further, guys who balled out in the NFL and went to small schools. Kurt Warner, he didn't even start in the NFL. He's a Arena League guy, packing bags out of northern Iowa. How about Grandpa Joe? Joe Flacco, Delaware. He went to Delaware and went to a Super Bowl. Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois. Say what you want about Romo, but how about Tom Brady taken in the 6th round? So, like it's tough to make that. I hate the ACC because they don't play defense. And I talked about that a lot during the draft process. It doesn't mean I'm right. But the thing is, everybody's got it. They're like noses, right? Everybody's got one, right? And so I thought this was just a great way to kind of sum it up by Garrett Bush to say, when it comes to Shedeur, people either think it's just hype, but then you have the other people who are saying, no, you need to be optimistic about this because the kid can play. You got to listen to us. And so there's just battle back and forth. And I thought Garrett hit it right on the head. And so, remember we did it, we did the Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel thing the other day. I'm going to run this back real quick, but look at those stats and then now compare them to Shedeur's. Shedeur did all that in 4 years. This is 5 years for Nix, 6 years for Gabriel. And I mean, other than like they got 11 and 13 extra starts, like what, not that much different. There's not that much difference there, and so this battle wages on. And I think, folks, this is what I'm saying. I just think that as Browns fans, let's lean on optimism. This is the best situation we have had in the quarterback room in years. We've got a competition that someone's going to come out of this thing and start week 1. Don't know who, but everybody's in play. And it's optimistic. It is an optimistic situation. And we gotta push this hype narrative away from Shedeur, because the everything look, I only could go by what I saw on the field. I saw, when you see those videos out of OTAs and things like that, I saw what I saw. I saw tight window throws. I saw accuracy, which that word is a hitch to his name. Everywhere you look, an ability to use his feet. We just talked about, the comparison to other quarterbacks and everyone he's compared to. It's a mixture of these guys who had a lot of success in the NFL. So let's be optimistic about Shedeur and what he can do on the field, okay? That's where I'm at. I mean, he took Jackson. He did a lot of the same things that Gabriel and we mentioned Bo Nix. I mean, he revitalized Jackson State, revitalized, everywhere he went. He picked up the offense and became a success. So, optimistic. Let's lean on optimism. You know me, I'm glass half full guy. Let's go glass half full on Shedeur. Everybody, let's get behind this, man. All right. Now, next thing, though. This is not so optimistic. Here's what worries me about the Pickett and Gabriel situation. If and when, I think they're going to get their chance. Unless Shedeur can just grab the bull by the horns and never let go. If and when Pickett and Gabriel get there, now because of what the Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, I don't know what Haslam had to do with any of this, but because of what they invested, trading 2 picks and going, or trading a quarterback and picks and going and get Pickett right away, like as soon as the season ends. And then you got Gabriel, 3rd round. Well, we saw with Deshaun Watson is they invested so much. Everybody and their brother could see right out of the gate this guy could not play anymore. But for 3 years, they keep sending him out there, and he's throwing worm burners, and he's overthrowing everybody, and getting sacked, and can't figure out where he can't read a defense. Every game we're watching this happen, and every game we're saying get him out of there. He is awful. We waited way too long because of this is what we do. Look at Jedrick Wills over there at left tackle. Kept sending him out there. And he's like a turnstile over there. Whiff, whiff, whiff. We get these guys and we get so locked in to what we invested in them that we ignore the fact that they can't play. So if it's Kenny Pickett and or Dylan Gabriel and Pickett's out there throwing picks, and Gabriel's out there getting every other ball batted down, and we have to keep watching this over and over, I'm going to lose my mind. I say short leash. We've got to develop a short leash in these situations, and I do not want to see that become, that's my biggest worry with those two, that it becomes another Deshaun Watson situation where we have to keep watching him go out there. You could go back to Baker. Everybody knew he was hurt. He should have never been out there. But we kept sending him out there. This better not happen with these 2 quarterbacks. That's all I got to say. Even Flacco. Flacco goes out there and starts throwing picks. He's on the 18th hole. He's walking up to the putting green on the 18th hole. So there's no need to have a long leash on Joe. We love him, but no need for a long leash. So that's all I'm saying. Don't want to see this another Watson. I don't want a Watson 2.0, which I don't need to see that. So now, one thing I never worry about, the viewer comments. You know that. And so today we will start with Big Red Racing Dog 466. I tell you, you got a good handle. You're probably getting in. He says, Gabriel and Sanders were late 3rd and 5th round picks. He makes a good point here. There are no exceptions for them. You're happy if you get a decent quarterback 2 out of these picks. If the Browns had taken an offensive tackle or a cornerback at 94 and 144, nobody would be clamoring for them to start. Quarterbacks do just fine if they sit and learn for a while. So there's that aspect. But what I thought was interesting about it is like, yeah, he's right. If they were other positions taken in those spots, we wouldn't be sitting here battling over whether or not they would start, right? Now, I might, if it was a left tackle that we got, maybe like a DeJuan, in like a DeJuan Jones situation where in the 3rd round we got some stud fell for some reason to us in the 3rd round, stud left tackle. I would maybe clamor for that, but he made a good point. I thought that was a good point. Good job out of you, Big Red Racing Dog. I wonder what that means. All right, here we go. This is a password, not so much a YouTube handle because it's CB-PU5DN. Clearly a password. If Dylan doesn't do well, Barry has to go. Waste of a pick if Kevin can't coach any of these 2 rookies. Kevin has got to go. So if these picks miss or Kevin can't coach them up, they're both out, according to CB. And he says at the end of it, if the owner already gave the green light for a quarterback in 2026, that's basically tanking. And I'm really hoping that I hope it's Shedeur grabs the bull by the horns and just never lets go, so we don't have to deal. If we got that this year, that would, oh my gosh, can you imagine what you can do with that draft next year, going forward, and the free agents and the new stadium coming and everything else? Like, oh my gosh, that could set us up for 10, 15 years if we can get that from I'm hoping for the best. So, but. I don't know. We'll see. I do think that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, they will be playing for their jobs too this year. So Kenny Pickett's playing for his NFL life. All right, Dog City Cleve. Dog City Cleve. These losers keep praising Kevin Stefanski's offense. This is what we teased at the beginning of the show. These losers keep praising Kevin Stefanski's offense instead of the reality that he's a loser and he has no clue what he's doing. Now, I wouldn't go that far, but what I would say is this: the play card makes me nuts. I've told you the Denny's menu. I can't do it. I can't because this is all I see. This is all I see. They show the sidelines, and this is all I see. I'm like, how can you coach the team if you're doing this the whole? Like, you can't. Baker Mayfield's over there with one arm, but you can't see him because you got the play card in your face. Like, that drives me crazy. It makes me insane, and so. We're gonna find we're gonna find out so many things this year because we're going back to his offense. We're going back to the wide zone running scheme. We got 2 stud running backs. We got receivers who can run after the catch. Like everything, all of the ingredients for Kevin Stefanski's offense to be good, and then he gets to call the plays too. You're right. If this crash and burns this year, this is over. This is over. In my opinion. And we're going to end on Adrian Curry, K6I. And talking about the new stadium and where the new stadium is going to be built in Brook Park. Says, as long as people are not removed and displaced like the LA Dodgers did. Before Dodger Stadium was a legendary baseball venue, it was known as Chavez Ravine. The area was home to generations of families, most of them Mexican-American. Now, here's the thing. Where they're putting the new stadium, it's going to revitalize. Like, this is, Brook Park wants this because it's going to revitalize that whole area. Right now, where it's just a big empty lot. It's an eyesore. Right next to the stone's throw from the airport. And so this will spur, once this whole thing is built, it's just going to spur that whole area. Who knows how many more new things will come. But right now, it's just a big empty lot. And so, no, there will be no homes, no homes, none of that will happen. It's all good. It is all good what is going to happen in Brook Park when the Brownies will be playing there in 2029. Okay, that's going to do it for today's show. Hope everybody had a nice, long, safe holiday weekend. Welcome back in. Welcome back to work. No. Nobody ever wants to be welcome back to work. But anyway, I missed you all if you were all out on vacation over the long weekend. All right, go Browns. We'll see you next time.